Hi guys, it's Matt here, and today I'm quickly going to be going over what to do after you've learned kanji with the Heisig method. This is a video that I probably should have done a very long time ago, but I never did. But it's a very simple process. It's nothing too difficult. I mean, when I say it's not too difficult, obviously it takes a long time to go throughout this entire process because this is like how to actually become literate after learning kanji, and that's obviously a very long journey. But I'm just gonna break it down to steps as to what I did and basically what I recommend you do. And so step number one would be to make sure that you learned hiragana and katakana as well as the kanji. So make sure you learn them in a similar way as you have done with Heisig's method. I think book two of Heisig's does teach you how to learn the kanas, but I've never actually bought that book, so I don't know. What I did is I learned it through rote memorization with Memrise and also an app called Dr. Moku, I believe, if I remember correctly. And Dr. Moku's method was very similar to Heisig's. It used like pictures and imagery to try and like help you remember what each character was, basically associating a character with a different concept or object. And that really worked. That really helped. I actually think that method helped more than the actual rote memorization that I did with Memrise. And I actually did all that stuff way before I knew about Agile, about the Heisig method. So that was like one of the first things I did learning Japanese. But in hindsight, what I would do, if you've just learned kanji and you haven't learned kana, then I would probably learn hiragana and katakana in the exact same process as you have done with Heisig's kanji. So do it the exact same way as you've been doing, just use hiragana and katakana instead. I would even go so far as to recommend doing hiragana and katakana first before kanji, just because if you do ever get stuck and you do want to look up a story online, there's a website, Kanji Kohi. Leave a link to that in the description. That website, you can go on there and I think you might have to sign up and make an account. I'm not entirely sure, but from my memory, if you type in a kanji or if you type in a keyword, it'll give you the Heisig's where it's saved in like in the correct order in Heisig's latest book, and it'll also give you the Heisig story, I believe, and also a load of community stories. So you could choose one of the community stories, and a lot of people and a lot of other stories. Well, not a lot of them, but a few of the stories actually use hiragana and katakana symbols, like the characters, as a basis of making a story. So, like you could use ka for the story of Chikara if you wanted to, because like they're very similar symbols, very similar characters. Um, so there are some cases where that happens. It's not loads though; it's just a few, but it could be helpful. So you may want to learn them first. You may want to learn them afterwards. It's your choice, really. You might find if you do learn them first and you do kanji and you come back to them, you may have forgotten some of them if you haven't read. That might be a thing. I'm not sure. I don't remember it being a thing for me because they were so simple and easy that I just remember them really quickly. So I don't think that'll be an issue. But anyway, so once you've learned hiragana and katakana, you're going to want to move on to step three, which would be like very basic material. And by basic, what I mean is stuff that has little kanji, but you still want some kanji. You don't want absolutely zero kanji, but you want something that's sort of like easily readable with hiragana and katakana, just to ease yourself in, because you don't want to dive straight into like a full block of text of absolute kanji, because you won't stand a chance. You just look at it, cry, and give up on learning Japanese. So you want to start off with something small. I would suggest maybe kids books, or like picture books, or very kids focused manga. So like manga for the younger generations of Japan. And the reason why I would suggest those is because well, for a start, picture books very few picture books have actual kanji in them. Some of them do, some of them, but most of them tend not to. So that's a good way of getting yourself straight into reading. However, you don't want to stay on those for too long. I'd probably, go for a couple and then that'll be it. And then you want to move on to the manga because the manga tends to have a good balance of like um, hiragana, katakana, and then the occasional kanji jumps in, right? And it's usually really basic kanji, really easy stuff like, open, shut, pick up, stuff you're always going to use and you're always going to see. So you'll see it a lot throughout the actual manga. And some manga, I'm pretty sure most manga, what they'll do is like if they have the same kanji like more than once, they'll show you the reading for it once, and then you won't see it the next time. So it gives you a bit of a challenge when you're reading. I'm pretty sure that's the thing. I haven't read a manga in a while, so but I'm pretty sure I remember that happening. So it gives you a bit of a challenge when you're trying to read the next one because it's forcing you to remember what you actually memorize that kanji's reading as. So it makes sure that you actually bring that reading back out from memory, and therefore solidify that memory and make sure that you actually learn that reading. So that's very important. It's very useful, and yeah, that should ease you in if you read quite a few of these mangas. Maybe you read the same manga over and over again. Then I don't know, by 2 weeks, 3 weeks time, you should be capable of moving up a bit of a step. So there's going to be a bit of a jump when you get to this stage though, because step 4 is like just reading like any old manga that you would like. But there's obviously a difference between like different types of genres and like different age groups as to like how difficult the vocabulary is going to be. So you may find that if you're going to jump into a particular genre that you absolutely love, that it could be incredibly easy or incredibly hard. And that's just how it's going to be from here on out. For all reading of all Japanese for you for like the rest of like your learning journey is going to be like, oh god, this is like way too easy for me, or oh god, this is way too hard. Now in the beginning it's going to be mainly way too hard, right? Because you're not going to know as much, but as you progress stuff gets easier. But on the flip side, you are still going to have stuff that is too easy for you. So you kind of want to find a good balance. You want to find something that you enjoy and something that is hard but not too hard. So just something that's a little bit harder than what you feel comfortable with. And that sort of gives you that learning curve that you need to sort of progress quickly enough. If you go for something too easy, then you're pretty much just memorizing what you've already learned, and you may occasionally learn a new word. But if you go for something ever so slightly harder, then you're going to be seeing a lot of new words each day, and you're going to be, learning a lot more. I would also recommend that at this stage, you start getting Japanese subtitles for any TV shows that you watch. If you are watching, sitcoms and stuff, it can be kind of difficult. But anything that's not animated, it's pretty hard to find subtitles for unless it's something that's really popular and really famous. So it can be difficult, but if you can get subtitles, then they can be useful. So I'd recommend, getting them and using them. And for anime, it's incredibly easy. There are just pretty much most anime have subtitles available for them because there's such a huge sort of subbing community, and it's just that you can find them for free online. As links will be in the description for drama and anime subtitle websites that are very useful. What I will say about reading subtitles though is reading subtitles is exactly just that. You are just reading the subtitles. Do not think of watching the show at the same time as reading the subtitles as listening practice as well. You're going to be focused too much on the reading to actually be paying attention to the actual listening. So you're not going to be picking up anything substantial from actually having the show in your ears. Of course, it's better than not having it, but it's not going to be a huge amount. It'll probably be a case of you're reading, you sort of, you're reading the subtitles, and maybe like, I don't know, you pause for a sec, you like get bored of reading the subtitles, and then maybe switch to the audio, find that you can't understand much, and then switch back to reading the subtitles. But if you do that, that's still good because it means you are getting that listening in. And you are getting that active listening every now and then into your immersion. So that's always good. So I would still recommend having both. I wouldn't recommend like turning the audio off and just reading. But at the same time, you've got to be aware that reading subtitles is just reading practice. It isn't really listening practice. So you have to be aware of that and be careful of that. So don't read too many TV shows is what I'm trying to say. If you spend like 6 hours watching anime, but you're actually just reading the subtitles, then what you're already doing is you're spending 6 hours of reading. You're not spending 6 hours of listening. And if you do too much reading, then you could have an effect on your listening and therefore speaking ability. Like basically your listening will get behind. You'll start thinking that certain words are pronounced the way that you have read them in books for the first time. You'll start guessing basically how words are pronounced, and then that obviously has an effect on your actual accent and how you pronounce words, and it may make you sound a bit weird. But obviously that's if you do loads of reading and absolutely no listening. So you gotta, as long as you get a good balance, it's fine. But I just thought I'd put that warning in there just in case anybody does get really insane with reading subtitles, which is something that I did do. So, it's easily doable. At this stage, you are basically just continuously trying to find stuff to read, finding things that interest you and things that are at your level and slightly harder. And you just expand and spread out to different genres. Just do what you like, essentially, with the reading there. At that stage as well, I would expect most people to be fully immersed. Like they would be, they would have their computer's operating system in Japanese. They would have their phone in Japanese. They would have a lot of their daily life in, visual text, any of that in their daily life in Japanese. Now, throughout all this process, you're going to be wanting to do Anki sentence cards. Which is something that I've covered in other videos. And basically what you're going to be doing is for each of the different stages is you're just going to be taking sentences that you think are interesting or fun or whatever, and that you like, sentences that you find are going to be easy to learn for you. You take them out, and hopefully they'll have one piece of information that you don't know. So one word you don't know, or one word you don't know how to pronounce, or a piece of grammar you don't know. You'll take that sentence, you'll put it into Anki, and you'll learn the thing you don't know. And that's going to kind of act as your glue for your immersion. It's going to make sure that you keep on top of everything, keep on top of all the new words you've learned, and it's going to help you progress slightly faster than your standard just immersion language learner. So if you want to know how to do that, you can check out my other videos on my channel. I go through different methods and techniques of how to do that. They're usually standard, just take stuff from actual books and just put it in and make your own sentence flashcards. Or you can try out the Subster SRS version of that, which is essentially the same thing, but it basically it's a program that automatically converts your favorite TV shows and any subtitle files you have for those TV shows into flashcards for Anki. And it just makes the whole thing a lot easier and a lot quicker and a lot faster. It's really useful. I did it heavily, and it really helped me improve my reading and stuff. So that's something you should definitely check out. And if you are interested in doing that, but you're not interested in doing the entire process of making those decks of the Anki cards, because they do take a while to do. It is a bit of a faff, but I do have a tutorial on my blog that tells you everything you need to do, and it's totally free. It's all there. If you can't be asked to do that, then you can but go onto my Patreon, and if you want to help out the channel as well, obviously, then you can go on there, and just for $1 a month you can get access to all the decks that I've made so far. And I am still making decks, albeit very slowly, but I'm uploading decks on there as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this video, guys. If you found this video useful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. Bye. I also just wanted to quickly say a massive thank you to everybody who has and is still supporting me on Patreon right now, especially to Diedrich, Eric, R, and Anton. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much, and thank you guys for watching the video.